think Matt Walsh was speaking to us in Morse code with his blinking.
It's possible.
Daily Wire's Ben Shapiro, whether he realized it or not, torched his colleague's weird idea that conservatives must unify with the far right on Thursday. Shapiro reacted to a bombshell Politico story, and he said, if you put that stuff online, if you put that stuff in chats, if you actually authentically think that stuff, first of all, you're wrong. But second of all, if you put that stuff online, there's social consequences to saying and believing truly terrible things. We all have social lines drawn all the time. He also said, there's this weird idea on the right that the left wins because they're totally unified and they're completely siding with one another. The left is not winning. I know we are sort of depressive on the right. We've gotten addicted to the depressive. The left is not winning. Donald Trump is president 2 times. Republicans are in control of the Senate, are in control of the House. Republicans are in control of the majority of the governor's mansions. They're in control of the majority of the state legislators. The left is not winning because of their unity. So I think that actually we should watch these clips before we talk about Matt Walsh saying he doesn't want to punch right. Let's watch 2 and then 3. Thank you, Dave.
Disagreeing with the motivations of the Politico story. In fact, even on my show today, I talked about the motivations of the Politico story, which, Matt, I agree, are completely scurrilous and designed to distract from the sort of violent rhetoric we've seen from the left. But it has led to, I think, a reactionary response on some parts of the right to say there should be no policing ever at all. No social consequences should ever attend to things that are said on the right, that it's basically just pure my side versus your side. The problem I have is, number one, I think that's immoral, and number two, I don't think that's pragmatic. I don't think that's moral because I think that there are things that get said on the right that are really, really, really ugly, and pretending those away doesn't make them go away. I think that they're rising. I think that they're getting more common. I know that my death threats from that side are getting more common. I know I have more security because of that, and it's not just from the left. I have lots of security from the left, and I also get lots of security from the right. Matt, I think a little bit earlier today you tweeted that kind of your litmus test is the people who are trying to kill you, and I totally get that. I also have that litmus test. The difference is that I think that if somebody tries to kill you, Matt, there's a good shot that it's going to be a leftist. If somebody tries to kill me, it's a frickin' Agatha Christie novel. I just don't know which direction the bullet is coming from at this point, given the sort of various and sundry radical extremes that exist. I'm not going to say that the right is equivalent to the left in this respect, because I don't think it's been mainstreamed to nearly the same effect on the right that it has been on the left. But to pretend that it has not infiltrated a lot of very important spaces, I think is sort of whistling past the graveyard.
Okay, what speech is he talking about? He's being so vague. Obviously, he's talking exclusively about what he perceives as anti-Semitic speech. Let's play 3 from 107 onward, please. And he's not going to say that, of course.
No. From 107 onward.
Yeah, this clip was long.
Okay, we can do that. Let's see.
I thought that what you said when Charlie died was right. You know, that one of Charlie's goals was to keep the movement together. It's obviously something JD is trying to do. He's trying to keep people in the room together. I totally get it. I've talked publicly about the fact that Tucker called me that day, 2 days after Charlie was shot, and said, like, let's stop fighting. And I said, you know what? That sounds great to me. That's fine. I really don't want to be fighting with you because obviously we have other priorities. In fact, I even offered Tucker that we should get on stage together and talk about the things that we agreed with. He's yet to take me up on that offer. But the bottom line here is that, you know, when it comes to where you set limits at some point are going to have to be set. And it seems to me that the move on the right is that because we don't like the left at all, because the left is bad, there must be no limit set. And any attempt to set a limit is somehow firing inside the tent. And what this actually leads to is many of the same people who are firing inside the tent then turning around and claiming that you're violating the truce. Because I'll tell you what, it's Nick Fuentes who's attacking Donald Trump on a regular basis. Yeah. It is Alex Jones who's attacking Donald Trump on a regular basis. I mean, it is Tucker Carlson who's attacking Donald Trump on a fairly regular basis, actually.
This is this is so shifty. This is such shifty Jew nonsense to act like he's not talking about anti-Semitism. He's talking about people that are going against Donald Trump. Like that's really what you mean. So Matt Walsh tweeted this. It was obviously a response to Ben Shapiro, but because they so closely work together, he's not going to say that. During the gender ideology fight, I made it clear that I would happily align with liberal feminists who hate my guts for the purpose of defeating transgenderism. They mostly declined that invitation and turned around and disavowed me instead, which I expected, but the invitation was sincere. I will work with anyone to defeat an evil. This has always been my stance. When it comes to fighting the left and defeating the people who want to kill me and my family and piss on my grave, I will unite with anyone on the right, even those I don't like. and those who don't like me. If you think this is unprincipled and morally compromised, then you simply don't understand how to fight and win a battle. A fractured conservative movement will fail. Only a united front can succeed. If you reject this invitation, just as the feminists did, that's fine. It's your right. I won't be the first. I've reached out my hand and gotten a hearty fuck you in response. This doesn't hurt my feelings. It's what I care about. Okay, so he's obviously responding to Ben Shapiro here, but I think that they both have missed the point. Ben Shapiro is right, using his high rhetorical IQ, in that obviously there are going to be some limits on speech in general. But what Matt is saying is that he's not going to disavow the anti-Semitic right. And they're both kind of talking, we all know what they're talking about, but they're talking past each other.
Sure.
And I think this spells...
Intentionally. Matt is intentionally talking past Shapiro.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this spells trouble for the Daily Wire, which was already in dire straits. And I cannot imagine, if this is what we're seeing pop up on panels, can you imagine what's going on behind? Can you imagine what's going on behind the scenes there?
I can imagine some like very nasally screams coming from like the office at the headquarters of Daily Wire. What do you mean he's doing what? You know,
I know.
Screaming and
What do you guys think? Does this mark the end of the Daily Wire and more broadly, media conglomerates with Jews at the helm who are not addressing anything serious? Hey, LP.
Oh, I think the elephant in the room here is Fuentes. Although maybe not the elephant because Shapiro did mention him, but I think that's the reason Shapiro is so nervous is because they've kept Fuentes away from the table for so long by saying he's a troll. Charlie Kirk said this, I don't talk to trolls. You know, he's like an anti-Semite this. Imagine Matt Walsh and Nick sit down. If you watch Nick talk, he's a very convincing guy. Like he's gonna sit there and just say all these things that Matt Walsh will just have to agree with because they're so reasonable. And this is like Ben Shapiro's greatest fear, his like biggest nightmare. It was Charlie Kirk's biggest nightmare while he was alive, you know, like how do I not do this? And it was easier to do it before Nick's getting invited on Tim Pool and all these other shows. So I do think things are coming to a head. I do think Daily Wire's in trouble. Maybe their like movie making business can still be profitable, but I think in general people are getting tired of listening to people like Shapiro and other people who carry water for those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Cameron, what do you think?
You know what struck me immediately? Well, I guess I should preface by saying I just have an allergic reaction every time I listen to Ben Shapiro talk.
You and I both, friend.
It's just, it's truly unimaginable how that man ascended. But I guess it's not. He has organized Jewish power behind him. So, surprise, surprise. What struck me, I guess, is how irrelevant these people are. Even the language that they're using. It's very obvious that, well, certainly it is to us because we're sort of on the margin of things, and that tends to liberate you, right? You can see things as they are. You don't have to exist in some kind of false binary. But their language is so anachronistic. I mean, what was it that Matt Walsh said? I will unify with anybody against the evil of transgenderism. Yeah, I think we moved beyond that, right? We have bigger fish to fry, folks. We have a government that's flailing out of control. We have race war unfolding in major streets across the United States. We have the mass mobilization of nationalism across the Western world. So we're just beginning to leave the station here, and I think there's panic. Certainly there is among people like Ben Shapiro because they've lost control, right? We've talked about this for months, really since the inception of the program. Basically, monopoly on social media or of the media industrial complex has completely turned over. And so now a lot of the ideas that were taboo, it's not that they're being discussed, it's that they're becoming mainstream and they're gaining political mobilization. And that's only going to accelerate in the next, I would say, 90 to 180 days and well beyond that. So they're panicking. They don't really know what to do, and so they're trying to draw lines in the sand. And that's what all people do when things sort of escape them. They're going to lose. I will say this: Ben Shapiro is right about a couple things. One is the left is certainly not winning. In many ways, they are self-destructive and they are self-immolating for reasons that we've talked about before. The second thing he's right about is that they were never unified. Right? This is another myth that people on the right, quote unquote, and both of you know, I don't like that term as it is. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. We are nationalists, right? We want to restore the national identity of white America as the true identity of the country. The rest of this is just a bunch of noise. But, you know, the bottom line is that the train has left the station. I think they're alarmed. They don't know what to do, and they're trying to stop it. It's too late.
Yeah. And what do we even do with these people? Matt Walsh has spent so much time on the reservation. He's driven so many people into an ideological ditch that if he wants to come over to our side because of public pressures, I kind of feel like, fuck you, dude. Like, stay in your own lane. You did this to yourself.
I mean, I would welcome him. I would welcome him with open arms. He can come on the backlash.
That's because you're the golden retriever of the dissident right. You're like, sure, I'll be friends with you. No, fuck that guy.
I mean, I don't know. My friend enemy distinction or what, I don't know. It's just different. Like, I just, I try to align with people where I can. You go to army with the war that you got. Fuck. Scratch that. You go to war with the army you have, not the army you want, right? So that's kind of my mentality behind this thing of like, listen, if Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson is who we got in the trenches with us, then all right, pass the ammunition, brother.
But we know because of the way they behave that they're motivated by material endeavors.
True. Yeah. And they're getting paid. And,
what am I supposed to do with somebody like that?
Well, use them and then lose them.
We can't do that, though. They're going to get too much power within the movement. I don't want these people at the helm. I want the scrappy people that are poor, that have sacrificed a bunch to be in the movement. That's who I want at the helm. Like, we can't just let anybody in now.
These people are fading away. I think the term I would use to describe them is irrelevant, right? They just don't matter anymore. Look, we are in a state of becoming, right? We do not really have a right wing per se in this country. It exists online. It's sort of amorphous. It congeals around the ideas that we talk about on this channel all the time, whether that's race realism or it's the JQ or it's the realization that democratic electoral politics is structurally broken. Those things are beginning to operationalize, but we haven't actually created a real movement yet. That being said, as I've talked about before, you're going to see a categorical shift in personality types. We're going to shift from pluralism, which is the paradigm we've been in since the 1960s, and the same paradigm that Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and all the rest of these people exist inside of. Even Tucker Carlson, to some degree, exists inside that paradigm. And we're going to shift, I think, like a light switch, into Puritanism. And that will make us more puritanical, right? So in this vein, I would suggest that Lenin's words bear repeating. A party must purge itself to strengthen itself. And so what we're doing now is we're basically purging people like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and all the rest of these folks who were never really with us to begin with.